All right, so before we get to our next game, guys, if you could do us a favor, if you like the show, just, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, leave a comment, leave a 5-star review. It would help us out a ton. It doesn't cost you anything. It's free. We talk college football. We have a lot of fun doing so. We are on TikTok at CFB Tailgate. That's starting to blow up a little bit. We are on Twitter at CFB Tailgate 25, YouTube at College Football Tailgate as well. Find us on Spotify and Apple, but if you could just do us a huge favor, hit that subscribe button, hit the like button, and tell a friend, because we're trying to help the people out here too, and also build our bankrolls in the process where we give out these picks, as these are plays that we are on as well. So, anyways, moving on. Saturday night in Death Valley, Clemson, that is, the Battle of Death Valley. I think if LSU is to go in there and get the win, Clemson might have to rename this. You can't use that nickname anymore. I think that is at stake in this game for a fact. But something on Clemson's side, John, that I noticed this week, Chappell Fowler, who is a Clemson beat guy on Twitter, points out that Memorial Stadium is selling alcohol for the first time Saturday night. Clemson is going to be buzzing. Dabo was asked about this, selling alcohol to fans for the first time on Saturday, and how that's going to add to this atmosphere. Dabo smiled and replied, quote, "It may be the first time they're selling it, but it's not the first time it'll be in there, I can tell you that." Do you think this is going to amplify Death Valley and Clemson on Saturday night?
I think it could, in the sense that, in the pre-selling booze at the stadium era, I think a lot of the students in particular would feel like they have to do 4 quarters worth of drinking before they even get into the stadium, or sneak in some airplane bottles. I know that move as well. And then you get a little sleepy, a little out of it as you get to the fourth quarter. This allows you to sustain a nice little beer buzz through 4 quarters. I feel like that could make it a little bit more raucous, but I don't think it overly changes the dynamic. I think it was going to be nuts in there regardless. But yeah, my general statement on booze at the college football games is I think it's honestly good crowd control, because you can see some people really struggling in the stands if they don't have access, and then therefore are just really going ham on the punch but before they enter the stadium, I will say.
It's going to be a I'm sure you have down there in SEC country, that's for sure. It's going to be a rowdy scene, I think, no matter what. I mean, it's week 1. You got a top 10 matchup back on campus. This is going to be awesome. Cannot wait for this one on Saturday night. But let's actually dive into this game here a little bit. Clemson favored by 3.5 or 4 at home now. I want to say this one opened up at 3, so it has moved a little bit more in Clemson's favor. The total sitting at 57.5, 56.5. That's ticked up a smidge since this line opened as well. Important thing, I mean, this is going to be the broadcast note and what you're going to hear over and over in this one, and we've said it on this show. LSU has lost 5 straight week 1 games. That includes 3 under Brian Kelly. Not only have they not won those games, if you're a bettor, they have not covered in those games either, as we've just seen some nightmarish play, I want to say, in week 1 from Brian Kelly and his team, whether it's FSU and Jordan Travis going crazy a couple years ago, that meltdown kind of against USC last year. Those were all neutral site games too, by the way. This one on the road in a very tough environment. You got a quarterback that's a little turnover happy. I mean, this could get out of hand for LSU. But how do you break this one down? What are you looking at? Because for me, it's what kind of game is Cade Klubnik going to have Saturday night? Is he going to run like crazy on top of being able to throw the ball? LSU, we've seen them struggle, especially last year with rushing quarterbacks between Reese and Sellers and Milroe were able to run all over them. If Klubnik can get outside the pocket, I do think that's going to make this become a very long night for LSU. But they do have the edge guys and the linebackers and Whit Weeks and Harold Perkins to contain him.
So I think whereas with these marquee matchups, Texas and Ohio State is going to be more of a slobber knocker, this is where the offense guys, we can get our fix a little bit. We're seeing that total at 57.5. I know there's NFL talent at every level of both of these defenses, but as cohesive units, I think the defenses are both behind the offenses in this one. I think that Clemson has the advantage when they have the ball offensively, and I think LSU actually will have the advantage when they have the ball offensively. LSU, I think the one kind of like offensive edge that they have over Clemson, and I've talked about this with Clemson, I get concerned about their running back depth, and Adam Randall, a converted wide receiver, taking over at running back. I know they have a freshman that they're saying out in the they're saying all the right things. They're saying that he's looking good and all that, but it's not quite Caden Durham and Harlem Berry like LSU has on the other side. So I think those third and shorts is going to be kind of like what really decides this game. Who's better on third down? I know that's not reinventing the wheel, but I think it becomes particularly important in this one because it's just going to come down to getting the stops when you absolutely need them, because for the most part, I think we're going to see a lot of back and forth. The defenses are going to be a little bit overmatched. I think some interesting debate out there as to who has the better receiving core. I think LSU's is deeper. I think they can go 5 deep of like really impressive playmakers. I think Clemson probably more so like 3 deep as far as their top guys that I would put ahead, but they don't roll quite to that level of 5. Ultimately here, high-scoring game comes down to the wire for me. I think Clemson wins it. Last possession, last team with the ball wins. Give me Clemson to win this one by like 2 points. So I'm betting Clemson money line. I am not betting them against the spread, especially with it being a 3 to hook.
Yeah, that is a tough number. If you got the 3 early on in the summer, good for you. But yeah, tough number. Yeah, like I mentioned, you were kind of hinting at that running back thing for Clemson. That is one of the questions that I wrote down for this. Does a running back step up Saturday night for Clemson? Or is Klubnik going to have to do everything? Because he might have to. I'm curious how many carries Cade Klubnik's going to have. Is it going to be like 8 or is it going to be like 12 to 15? That's a really interesting angle to this game here because he might have to do it all with his legs and his arm and have a monster night Saturday. And
that might be a recurring theme all season too, right?
As someone that picked him as his Heisman pick, I would not mind seeing that. I think that would be pretty good. But another question too that I have about the LSU offensive line. Brian Kelly said that they might rotate 8 guys Saturday night here as they're trying to figure out that tackle spot. Both Will Campbell and Emory Jones left. They graduated or went to the NFL, however you want to phrase that. So how big is that drop-off going to be from 2 NFL-caliber guys to whoever they have filling in there against that Clemson front that it's looking, at least on paper, it sounds like this might be one of your more traditional, scary 4-man units for Clemson up front there, too. I do think that's something to keep an eye on.
Yeah, no, it's fronted by Peter Woods in the middle, but they have some serious edge talent as well. I think their inside linebackers are a bit of a question mark as far as like run fills are concerned, or if LSU is able to kind of get a setup where they can isolate a slot receiver on a linebacker. That's something to really keep an eye on. I always go back to I guess the Alabama-Ohio State national championship game where Devontae Smith was getting covered by Tough Borland. If LSU can cook up something like that on their offense and against one of these Clemson linebackers, that is something to keep an eye on, of course. But anytime that you're talking about rotating offensive line in a game that of this magnitude, and it's not like we're playing Southern University this week at home, that does raise an eyebrow. That does make me a little bit concerned, I think, if I'm an LSU fan.
So, I mean, I've been ragging on Brian Kelly for years, especially as we've started this show. So I got to take Clemson here. I'm taking them to win. Not going to wager on them, but I do like Clemson to win there. And then I actually lean under, John. I don't know if either one of these teams is going to get to 30. And with that total sitting right up around 57, maybe get to 58, I mean, someone's going to have to get to 30 there to get to that over. I think we might see these teams really try to run the ball, and some clock might run here. So I would lean under. But gambling notes, as I mentioned, LSU 0-5 straight up and against the spread in their last 5 openers. That includes 0-3 under Brian Kelly. Clemson, on the other hand, Dabo has not had it going on against the SEC as of late. Last 10 against SEC opponents, 3-7 straight up, 2-8 against the spread. In the last 8 openers against Power 4 opponents, Clemson just 4-4 straight up and 2-6 against the spread. So Dabo, has a little work cut out for him on Saturday night, I would say.
Do you remember offhand what happened to Clemson in the opener last year, by chance?
Didn't they like quit at halftime?
Might as well have. It wasn't even. It wasn't a blowout yet. I think it was like 10-3 at half, and then, my God, the Avalanche.
Basically, half the team must have just left, gone to Chick-fil-A and Mercedes-Benz or something like that, and not realized when the second half started. But yeah, that was an ugly one. Or even 2 years ago, what happened against Duke on that Monday night? Remember that one? Where they looked horrible. That was Klubnik's first start.
That's right. That was that was when I was starting to get a little bit worried about this iteration of Clemson really being able to kind of cut it in this era. But they've turned things around, obviously, since then. They have all the continuity. We check out our ACC preview to hear more about this. But we believe in Clemson for this year. But yeah, there were some rocky times there navigating like the post DJU era, which obviously did not go according to plan.
That guy has just left chaos in his wake wherever he's been. That is for sure.